Are you going to slap industrialists?
Yeah.
Are we going to slap Bollywood heroes and heroines? You are not going to do anything of that sort. And why choose poor people who are here for jobs? Why Bal Thackeray succeeded and Raj didn't? The answer lies in a constructive structure Bal Thackeray had created. In the bargain, what has lost its credibility and importance of language as an issue. That's a bigger damage, I feel.
In southern states, that language chauvinism which we see, whether it's Tamil Nadu or basically Tamil Nadu and Kerala, if we can say. Now, why that is not working in Maharashtra?
The language was not the pride the way it is in Tamil Nadu or in Kannada.
In this episode of West Side Story, today we look at the issue of Marathi language row, which has been raised by MNS President Raj Thackeray. On Sunday, Gudi Padwa Day, that was the New Year's of Maharashtra, Marathi speaking people in Maharashtra, he raised this subject during his public rally, saying that if anybody hesitates to speak in Marathi, his workers, the activists, should not think twice. They can go and slap them. And within 24 hours, there was spate of incidents of violence, where a watchman was beaten up. The activists barged into the banks in Lonavala and also in parts of Mumbai, and they kind of intimidated the bank employees. And within a week, on Saturday, he issued a letter saying that we should halt this agitation. Now, Girish, 1 week of action, reaction, and suddenly he stopped it. This politics of fits and start, I mean, where is it going to lead MNS?
Actually, there are two points to this question. One is this new age leaders and their style of shoot and scoot, announce agitation, grab something, headline or whatever, and then disappear. As far as Raj is concerned, I think he has taken just only one part of Bal Thackeray, that is his uncle, of militant agitations, what he did in 60s when Shiv Sena was formed against South Indians, he did for North Indians. And now the issue is that he can't go beyond that. It's time tested and use by date kind of a formula. Why Bal Thackeray succeeded and Raj didn't? The answer lies in a constructive structure Bal Thackeray had created, like Sthaniya Lokadhikar Samiti. It was like a de facto employment exchange then, and they used to train people. That kind of mechanism Raj doesn't have. In fact, he doesn't have anyone else other than himself, as a party face. It will be next year 20 years, so 2 decades now. And his party is going nowhere.
Yes.
So language was an issue he started with. He gave up for Hindutva and he joined the Hindutva bandwagon. And he couldn't do anything because Hindutva space is already overcrowded. Right. And he's not that he was adding any great value to the saffron side. And now he's again seen coming back to and raising Marathi issues. But in the bargain, what has lost its credibility and importance of language as an issue. That's a bigger damage, I feel. And now that actually is the real question. What happens to language-related politics and language-related issues, And Raj's sudden withdrawal it's going to impact his credibility, certainly.
Because I think within a week you start with a bang, one can say that, and then again Saturday you issue a letter saying that we have created sufficient awareness and it's up to the community now how to react that way. Somewhere I think the timing was wrong, because the politics is all about timing, where he absolutely went wrong on that. And secondly, I think the larger question is, he has done this in the past also, replacing of the nameplates and, threatening people and, the recruitment of the Marathi sons of the soil in the railway, kind of railway jobs or public sector jobs. But the issue is the point he made was in southern states, that language chauvinism which we see, whether it's Tamil Nadu or basically Tamil Nadu and Kerala, if we can say. Now, why that is not working in Maharashtra?
See, first, the point you raised is the timing was wrong. It's not only timing, everything was wrong. So, you can't be seen beating those hapless, helpless, poor people on the road or in bank. You can't do anything, those who are controlling them, or Raj is very friendly with the Bollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, which star in Bollywood speaks Marathi? And I mean, have you ever tried to bring them on the Marathi fold? You never. So why beat them? That is one. And secondly, why it had to be withdrawn? Because suddenly I feel after initial reaction of maybe from the government to give him kind of a long rope. You also wrote about it, They must have sensed it's going to impact Maharashtra's investment scenario.
Yeah.
So that was a bigger danger for Devendra Fadnavis' government, and message must have been sent to him from the top, and then he withdrew. And the second part you talked about Tamil or Kannada or Malayali. The real reason which I feel Marathi as a language, if I use the word, suffers, is the script. I mean, you can't, if you don't know the script, you can't do anything in Tamil. So that's not the case with Marathi, since Marathi has adopted a Devanagari script. So everyone, at least the upper half, is familiar with Devanagari script. Maybe they may be speaking Hindi, Brajvasi, or whatever language the North Indian speak, So, but Maharashtra, that's why they don't feel alienated the way we feel in, say, Malayali or Tamil Nadu or any other state, because it's completely different. It's all Greek to us, That's not the case in Maharashtra, and that's why the overall feeling of they can get away with it is because of that. And Shiv Sena or the MNS, unfortunately, didn't address that issue the way it should have been. Some kind of a seriousness there should have been there, You have to have mechanisms to make people learn Marathi, at least the basic working knowledge of Marathi or something of that sort, They didn't do that. And it was golden opportunity for Senior Thackeray. He was interested in only the recruitment part, but making people learn Marathi was not done, and nobody thought it necessary. Now it's all coming to bite all those Marathi protagonists,
I know. I also think this violence, this mode of, whenever you're promoting some language you're pushing, like, I mean, just to give an example, like in West Bengal,
Yeah.
See, the first thing when any visitor from Maharashtra or any other places came there, when we were childhood in this, the first thing we would kind of, give them the do's and don'ts, like etiquettes, Don't address somebody in such a way that it insults them. To use a proper word, say apni, not tum, that kind of thing. So that culture was not imposed on individuals, non-Bengali people with sticks.
Yes.
That was a part of the culture.
Correct.
And it came naturally. I think where this regional parties in Maharashtra are failing is like they are trying to wield the sticks and violent methods, which is actually defeating the very cause for which you're fighting.
I agree.
Basically.
I agree. And this is the reason. And why it happens, there is also a socio-political reason behind why this mentality. Because Maharashtra and Marathi Manus, there is some kind of a complex, and I can blame it to the first Panipat war. We can go back to that. There is something that is being stealed. You are being deprived of something. The deprivation feeling, except the glorious part of Chhatrapati Shivaji, rest of Maharashtra's history is all about somebody taking out something from you, taking over something from you. And that's why this issue of language also, it was linked to Mumbai's existence in Maharashtra, Mumbai's survival in Maharashtra. And that's why there was no effort, to make people aware. The very friendly kind of a gesture, basic Marathi, Devanagari script, whatever. That was never adopted. And every outsider was seen as someone who has come as an invasion, as an invader. So he's here to grab my job. He's here to grab my wealth. He's here to take my land. So this is the and political parties catering to that feeling was a real issue, and that has really happened. These things were not handled the way they should have been actually.
I think one aspect is the docile. We are maybe the larger thing is very docile, so you accept everybody, which is good. But at the same time, instead of assimilating the people in the process, you know, you can actually do much
isolate,
more. You're trying to kind of counter it and using the wrong method. I mean, that's where the gap is with.
And also, see, like for example, the earlier central province, which should have been part of Madhya Pradesh, Hindi speaking. You come from the central province, Nagpur. You know, it's predominantly Hindi speaking. Take Marathwada, the Hyderabad region, you know, I mean, it is part of Nizam. They also speak Hindi. So that's why the overall impression is that, okay, if you don't know Marathi, it's fine. Maharashtra more or less understands Hindi or speaks Hindi. And Mumbai being Mumbai, it's a new what do you call, a mix of language, the Bombaiya Hindi, you know. So that's why there was never need to make people aware about the language, you know, and the language was not the pride the way it is in Tamil Nadu or in Kannada.
Also, I think instead of, you know, I mean, we have a very rich kind of a culturally we're very rich. I mean, in the past, it often said that, you know, Bengal and Maharashtra literature, Marathi literature was always upheld, and not only here but across the country. And over the years, the other states also. And but now I think how many of the people in the industry, Marathi industry, I mean, how much pride they take.
Even the political leaders, their next generation, do they speak Marathi? Have they gone to Marathi school? It's not. I mean, the very Shivaji Park where Shiv Sena was formed in 60s, just opposite to Shivaji Park, Marathi school, Mumbai Municipal Marathi School has been shut down. So what are you doing to make Marathi and keep it alive, you know? And this, if there is a single biggest failure of Shiv Sena and MNS, is their serious lapse in creating institutions, you know. Look at Congress or NCP. They have cooperative banks, you know, very strong hold. But these so-called regional parties or the language-based political parties, they didn't do that. So Mumbai is home to everyone, every industry. There is a Bollywood in Mumbai, but Mumbai is not in Bollywood, you know. So you can say about every other sector, and that's why the cultural history or the cultural dominance doesn't come because of your muscle power. You have to have a soft power. You have to have a machinery and institutional built-up to create that kind of an impression. Maharashtra like that.
Though I'll give him credit, he had organized a very successful poetry reading. I think you were a part of that. So yes, I think his intent is good.
It's good.
There's
no doubt about it.
But the method, probably what worked in 66 when Bal Thackeray tried that method is not going to work now.
Correct.
And especially now with the digital age where your social medium is so powerful. If you want to convey the same message, you can do it the other way. So instead of getting physical and assaulting the helpless people, you know, I mean, you can't, I mean, a watchman, he's come for a job, I mean, whichever state. So I think there they have to do some course correction.
They need to do course correction, and also because Shiv Sena, when it came into being, there was too much of an we can say lumpen elements available to bring into political fold, you know. So historically, Shiv Sena was not a political party; it was an organization created for one particular cause. So that which was converted into a political party. Now MNS is aping Shiv Sena's way doesn't work that way, because a large section of middle class people they won't agree, they won't be comfortable with this kind of ways, you know, going out and slapping someone. And if that is the case, are you going to slap industrialists? Are we going to slap Bollywood heroes and heroines? You are not going to do anything of that sort. And why choose poor people who are here for jobs? I mean, it is for them, it's living, you know. So that is why he will have to change his tactics, and like what Bal Thackeray did, he will have to create his own Sthaniya Lokadhikar Samiti. There is something institutional necessity, you know, and that's a huge blank on Manasseh. So other than Bal Thackeray, there were 8 top leaders in Shiv Sena then, you also know. So this can't be said about Raj Thackeray. He himself is the only face. There is no second rung leadership, and there is no institutional kind of a creation, which will be constructive in imparting Marathi knowledge or bringing in as making them more employable. So that is not the case, So he will have to change on that.
So what worked in 1966 is not going to work in
Correct.
2025.
Yeah.
That's very clear.
Yeah.
And even if they use this intimidation tactics,
Yeah.
for some time you can create that kind of a terror, fear,
Yeah.
whatever. But for his own politics and for his own leadership, I think this doesn't augur well.
Yeah.
Whatever goodwill he has amongst
Correct.
the, not only Marathi speaking, but even non-Marathi
Yeah.
speaking, North Indians and South
Yes,
Indians.
it
and
doesn't look.
others.
I mean, it's not going to go take him long way,
Long way, no.
And also the third factor, which was not existent then, that is that friendly state government.
State government, yeah.
The Vasantram Naik and
Yeah.
Vasantdada Patil, so that's why Shiv Sena earned a moniker called Vasanta Sena,
Yeah, Vasanta Sena, yeah.
So state governments were friendly with,
Yeah.
or they looked the other way.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because then Mumbai's presence in Maharashtra made Maharashtra really kind of a only engine, of the economy. So Maharashtra can do anything. Now that's not the case. Maharashtra is not in that position to dictate the industrial and business scenario. So any small kind of a violence or distraction, investment scenario will get impacted. And I don't think Devendra Fadnavis can afford to do that.
Though I think Devendra Fadnavis' initial response, which
Yeah.
came I think after 48 hours,
Yeah.
so that way he did show some kind of patience,
Yeah.
I think. And his first reaction was pretty soft.
Yeah.
And one also started questioning like how can a chief minister
Yeah,
with
yeah.
such a powerful
Yeah.
government, be soft pedaling on this
Yeah.
issue. Where he said, yes, Marathi is important, but at
Yeah.
the same time, law will take its own course. So, Girish, then what exactly must have happened? Like, do you think it was the fear of industries?
Yes. Yes.
Investors,
Yes.
basically? That
Because he realized that Manasseh is going too far, going to various bank branches, threatening them, giving them warnings, and so that was taking it too far. And first reaction was interpreted as a kind of a leeway to Manasseh or soft handling of the issue, not kid gloves handling. But that's not the case. The way it then started flaring up, and such kind of agitations, what happened, the central leader loses his control after a while. Because it all becomes thuggery, it's all gundagardi, any small group of people wearing those badges which are easily available can go to any place and then start beating them up, So that's why you need to have a structural mechanism in place to handle this agitation, which was available for Bal Thackeray.
Thackeray.
And that's what the importance of Bal Thackeray is this, he created that. That was missing. So somebody doing something in Lonavala, I don't know how much control Raj Thackeray could have had, So this was the danger of spilling it out of hand and becoming a law and order issue, which we hardly can afford now.
And also look at the state. I mean, after this last 5 years, I think Fadnavis is now trying to. His government is trying to kind of again take the state back to the leading industrial status and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And initially, he did make this statement that we are as far as the ecosystem is concerned, the political stability is concerned, or the state's political structure is concerned, irrespective of the opposition, this is the perfect kind of a platform for any global or domestic investors. So I think in this whole, in his kind of so-called, promotional package, I think this MNS style of politics, I think, was becoming detrimental.
Was detrimental and it had no place because you need everyone to support your industrial policies and if it was allowed, there would have been small agitations all over Maharashtra on different issues, and as said, shoot and scoot kind of things, you have some small issue, beat up someone and then disappear. That's not the way, and Maharashtra as it is lagging in attracting investment, overall investment friendly image. Such kind of agitation happening in Mumbai would have been the last thing Maharashtra can think of, and especially the Chief Minister can handle it. So it was bound to doom right from the word go. I mean, initial success here and there, anyone can have it, but to sustain this kind of an agitation to take it to logical end, this is not the way. Certainly not the way.
So, well, I think his rollback was, one can say, a very thoughtful process. I mean, though it started with mindless kind of a method he adopted. And what do you think? There was also this concern about the Bihar assembly elections, because MNS has nothing to lose, but but this kind of message going from here, because when we spoke to the BJP leaders and especially the North Indian segment, they were really worried, and they, I think some of them had started kind of also trying to talk with the central leadership, or even roping in Yogi Adityanath, kind of, they had these channels basically. So somewhere that factor was weighing on their mind.
And that's why Chief Minister must have put in his foot down. Enough is enough, because such kind of agitations have always danger of flaring it up, and going out of hand and becoming this state versus that state issue. It happened few weeks back when Karnataka and Maharashtra issue. I mean, the border dispute. Border dispute. It spilled into attack on each other's transport buses. So something before it could happen. Fortunately, it was stopped or withdrawn, or we can say halted.
So would you say that as far as Marathi language is concerned, do you think it still is a kind of an electoral plank?
I don't know about this electoral plank, because the way, I mean, at least in Mumbai, Maharashtra, obviously, outside Mumbai, it is very much there, Mumbai, it's diluted, because the way Mumbai had spread, the influx of migrants, and those are not necessarily migrants from Maharashtra, they are from all over place, and Mumbai's expansion into various suburbs, that has diluted Mumbai's Marathi plank, and to have it consolidated, party or MNS or Shiv Sena, whoever tries to woo them back, they will have to have a very long-term structured program for that. Such kind of agitation is hardly, we can call it a plan.
So we can say that in 1966 it was a destructive kind of, or disruptive kind of method that worked also, because as you explained the reasons. But here on, they have to have a very constructive politics and constructive mindset. I think Shiv Sena UBT kind of put up a banner. I think it was a teaser, I think, to MNS, saying that come, we will give lessons on Marathi. I think should Raj Thackeray also start something like that?
He will have to have some kind of an organization, which Shiv Sena fortunately even today has, So though it might have been weakened after the death of Sudhir Doshi and Pramod Navalkar. What happens in such kind of organizations, the political arm gets everything. So Sudhir Doshi was ignored while Manohar Doshi became the chief minister. So those who are working in such kind of back end important institutions, they get ignored, and there is some kind of an feeling of being deprived. Similarly, we can say about those who RSS workers who are working for the BJP's kind of a spread, and those in the BJP getting walking away with the cake and everything. So that is the feeling, and that's why political parties find it extremely difficult to have those structures, like for example Congress had a beautiful structure called Sevadal. It is nowhere, and it's directly linked with Congress's kind of a political debacle. So Shiv Sena's success largely goes to this institutions like Sthaniya Lokadhikar Samiti. MNS's failure in encashing whatever success he did in the very first election in 2009, he couldn't multiply it or take it to next level because there was no such backing, So he will have to have some kind of a mechanism to have this if he wants to play again with this Marathi plank. Otherwise, it's a failure of the leader. Is definitely his failure, but also the cause, and that's the real damage. Marathi's cause will be lost. That's the real damage.
So in the current space where you have two pan-Indian parties, Congress and BJP is much more powerful in the current context. I think MNS had a good opportunity, has a good opportunity, provided it takes its politics in a more constructive way and something with at the ground level, grassroots level, instead of just making one should say just making kind of a
headline
impact. Impact which is short-lived, basically. Just one instance or two instances here and there, and just making noises. I mean, that doesn't percolate at the
and
grassroots.
it's not long-lasting. Slapping someone can't be party's agenda. You have to have parallel agenda, which is constructive, which is long-term, which will engage saner people also. I mean, otherwise it's just a go out and slap someone. It's not going to
exactly, because in one of these instances that happened, the very person who was questioning the MNS activist was a Marathi speaking employee, who said that why should you impose this on us, So the point is, whose cause are you fighting at the end of the day then?
That's what I say. That's a real cause of Marathi and safeguarding Marathi interest. That is overlooked by such kind of high-handed agitation, and that's the real damage Maharashtra has been facing last 50 years.
And in doing so, I think also some way you are kind of hurting your own culture. You're hurting your own, it's a beautiful literature you have. You have a very rich legacy of literatures, writers, poets. So, and which you are really dedicated to. So, I think, look, can we expect MNS to come out with a new blueprint on Marathi language?
I hope so. He takes up, he doesn't take it so personally, the withdrawal and the criticism that comes with that, and has some kind of a serious program, because despite his political success or lack of it, he still has a following, So he has to have some kind of a decently designed plan for political revival. This was hardly anything, whatever he did.
The only index, if we have to measure how successful Marathi language is his own speeches. Whenever he takes the center stage of any rally, irrespective of whatever his strength, I mean, at present it's zero as far as MLAs are concerned or MPs are concerned. Yet the amount, the kind of crowd that he manages, succeeds to draw, the kind of its impact across, not only Marathi speaking, non-Marathi speaking also, the traction he has, even now, despite having zero MPs, MLAs. I think the success of Marathi lies there.
Very much there. It's at the end of the day, language spoken by 13 crore people, So 130 million people speak Marathi language, which is bigger than the German. The sheer size of the state and as a population, if you look at it, compare it with it's bigger than German. So you have to have, I mean, this short-sightedness of leaders is not language's problem, So language suffers because of that, and that I hope somewhere down the line those Marathi leaders understand importance of long-term planning, and some vision for the language's revival.
So the next time we hear Raj Thackeray at a public rally, or he holds some meetings, or hopefully we look forward to a constructive blueprint, and which is more kind of where the poor are not beaten up, the helpless are not beaten up, but something which should actually serve the purpose of the language.
And a leader like him, people shouldn't fear leaders, he should command respect. Such kind of activism makes you, kind of a villainish image, in the larger picture. That's not good for any leader, forget Raj, but for anyone else also.
So we'll look forward to what his next plans are.
Hope.
And thank you so much, Girish.
Thank you.